folks, Professor K here, and today I'm going to show you how I'm tackling the second layout for Lyrical Layouts using only by 9 Inch Nails as my lyrics base. Now, before this tutorial, I thought about how I might tackle this. And some things that I went through in the brainstorming process were thinking through the lyrics and thinking through the song and what words stood out to me. And sometimes people like to do this in their sketchbooks. I was a bad art student and I did not really like drawing in my sketchbook. I've never liked it, in fact. So although I highly recommend it for you, the reason why I don't like it is because it's faster for me to think through these ideas in my head. And I have I'm really good at basically imagining what things will look like in my brain up here. So if you have a harder time with that, or if you just need to get away from the visual ideas, I definitely recommend your sketchbook. But as I was thinking through the lyrics, I was thinking about what words stood out to me. And it was stuff like, I'm becoming less defined as days go by, and defined really stood out to me. Fading away, and well, you might say I'm losing focus, right? So fading, focus, kind of drifting into the abstract in terms of how I see myself. And abstract and see were things that came out to me too. So as I kept reading these lyrics out to myself and thinking about what is it about this song that really stands out to me and like kind of sticks with me, these ideas about vision specifically and clarity and understanding really hit home for me. I was like, this feels like a really ripe opportunity to play with the idea of blurriness, the idea of clarity versus blurriness. How well can you see things? And then right there, something snapped. And I was like, oh, how well can you see things? So what I ended up doing was I ended up going and doing some research on my own on my iPad here that was like, okay, well, what about a vision chart? What if I set this as a vision chart? And I thought that might be a really cool way of tackling this idea of clarity and vision and some of those things that stood out to me. So in our first layout, when I was thinking about the meaning of the lyrics, I was really thinking about what were some of the traits of the song that really stood out to me and that I could express through typography. Now what I want to do in my second layout is more creatively express that through shapes and through concept and through some of the meaning there. So kind of stepping one step further away and saying, okay, I don't have to worry about readability anymore. What can I do with these lyrics to make them more interesting? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to attempt to set the lyrics of only, and I don't have to use all the lyrics. However, for this part of the assignment, I do want you to really use typography as your basis for your shapes and your communication and kind of making it visually interesting. So that's why this eye chart idea works, is because it relies on the shapes of the type to get the idea across. And it references something that's typographic based. If you do make a shape, I want you to use the type to fill it. I want you to use the type to outline it. Think about what the shapes on the inside of your typeface are, right? Think about those sorts of things. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to attempt to do this using my new favorite tool underneath the type here called the Touch Type tool. Let's get started. Okay, so what do I need to do first here? First, I am just going to take all this and kind of move it right on over. I want it off my artboard. Nice clean start. And if I remember my Touch Type tool, yeah, I can use any type I want to start this out. All right, let's start with the main lyrics. So I'm going to start with this main verse, pop it in here. And what typeface do I want? I want something chunky, right? This is really the one that reminds me most of an eye chart. So to get that eye chart feel, I actually need a different typeface than what I'm using here. I was using like this typewriter typeface, but now I need something different. Either like this chunky slab serif, that's what those are called, or a sans serif like this. I'm gonna go for a slab serif. So let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can get something inside our character palette. Let's go under filters, go to slab serif and see what our options are. Let's go under find more. Let's get something really heavyweight too. We want something really square. American Typewriter ITC might be a good choice. Maybe Factoria. I want a high X height, low contrast. I want a regular width. What's that give us? Oh, that really narrows it down. I'm gonna try Culturista and see how that goes. All right, so I'm gonna try using the touch type tool for this. And the reason why is because if you look at this, the way that this is structured, it's really about the individual letters in here. And that's what the touch type tool is good at, is individual letters. So I'm going to start by aligning everything to the center, just like this. And let's see if the leading is the same between each of these. I think it might be. When I want to measure things or I want to make sure everything is the same amount between spaces, I like just drawing out a shape as reference. So this is the leading between the first and the second, second and third, third and fourth, fourth and fifth. And this is very clearly consistent between each of these lines. So here I'm going to want to set a really, really large leading between everything. I'm going to start out with 60 point and see how it goes. Let's also take a moment to capitalize everything because everything up here in our eye chart is capitalized. So to do that, underneath of character is this more options that you can click, and this will give you more options for showing things in different ways. So there we go. All caps is right underneath there. So if you want all caps on everything, don't go and manually do that. There's a way to do that right underneath the character palette. Remember, again, if you don't see the character palette, window and then type and character is the way to get it. Let's take a look. Yeah, oh, this is looking, that's a really good match for what I saw up here. That's really close. All right, let's use our touch type tool now. And let's try selecting one character and make it really big. Cool. So one thing I'm noticing about the touch type tool is that it's not doing the line breaks for me. So let me think about where this might break for this eye chart type situation. So back over to the touch type tool. I'm going to use that to kind of increase this and this. And I even want these to I don't want a baseline shift, but oh, look at this. It will space these out equally. That's exactly what I want. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. I'm never going to get over this. All right. So let's just kind of go through and I'm just going to guesstimate this. I wish when I held shift that it would keep it in line, but it's not doing it. Can't select two of them at the same time. These next ones, I might do this more traditionally using the kerning instead of the touch type tool. So let's see how we would do that. T to get back to the type tool, double click in here to select it all, and then option, right arrow or left arrow, and oh, that's so much easier. Okay, so the touch type tool is great for manipulating the size of things, but maybe not so much all of this. And in fact, we might find that at this point, it's faster to start using this kind of scale that we can go through. So let's just give that a try. All right, so that's 36. And then it keeps going down. So I'm just going to keep doing this and set the lyrics in this. And I'll be back in just a moment with that all set. And we'll start on the next part. We're just going to adjust this right on up here and equalize the kerning a little bit here because these don't feel like they're quite equal in space. So let's zoom out there. And that's not bad. And I kind of like where this has left off here because it's stopping at a good point. And I kind of like the placement too, because you could just center this, but I want to try putting some instructions to the side, kind of like how we see over here. And I'm going to get out of isolation mode. You know you're in isolation mode if you have this bar up here. Just click the arrow until you get rid of it. So there's some neat little pieces like fractions here that I haven't really decided what to do with. So there's that. There's also these kind of numbers. I'm wondering if I could use some of these areas, or even like this here, down here, to do the artist and the title, because I do need something to do that. So here I might be able to use that more typewriter-y type font. Let's take a look at that. And let's see if we've got a cleaner Yeah, bold is a little cleaner. I don't really like how those are looking together. I do like the condensed bold font though, so let me see if I can find something. Like that's a really nice pairing. Let me find out if there's something using Adobe Typekit here. Here's my condensed width. I want low contrast, heavy weight, high X height. What we got here? Avenir Next might be good. I'm gonna try Avenir Next. Well, that's feeling kind of good. It has like a nice, I don't know, kind of retro feel. And let's go back under character using more options and let's all caps that as well. Even make that a little bit smaller just to really get that reference going there. So I want to put in a little bit more in terms of lyrics besides what's going on in the chorus here. So this is the chorus, right? Only me, there is no you. And I should probably lead into this too. Ooh, check out that kerning. That feels good. I'm gonna keep that. How much is that? 160? Let's make sure those are equal. I want to add just like a little line just to reference the original work. Let's do a stroke. 0.25 will do just fine. Give this a little bit more room. And see how we're using this little stroke to connect it to the top of the eye chart? Let's even pop these down a little bit further. And then I wonder if we did like a 2/3, 1/3 type grid thing, that would look nice here. Now, one thing to notice is I'm really not relying on shape too much here. I'm really letting the typography do the speaking. Now let's grab some of these other lyrics. I'm gonna use the type tool and just cut, Command X, paste. And here, this is Avenir Next 9 at 160. We want the condensed version. And just to make it easier to manipulate, I'm going to drag out a text box here. And in this case, I want it to look like instructions, so I might even remove the line breaks. So let's get this out of the way. And this might even be a fun opportunity to do some neat ideas with spacing. So I might use the touch type tool here again too. And just for artistic purposes, like I said, I'm gonna take out the line breaks. That's okay to do in this part of the assignment. Now look at this, the F and the I really want to stick together, huh? So this is actually a feature, not a bug. Typographers sometimes pair certain letters together in a way that makes them look better. That's called ligatures. But what we want is the open type panel. Type, open type. This panel will give us options. There it is. I knew it was around here to turn on and off these ligatures. So let's turn off standard ligatures. And did you see how that changed with there and defined? Look closely. I'm going to turn it back on and then off. So on, the F and I are close together. Off, they move apart. Perfect. So when you're doing like creative typography like this, you might have these going and spaced out further, and then you don't want really those ligatures happening. Now, it might be fun here. Let's try justified type. Usually this is a typography no-no, but I'm going to work very hard to make these look good. And how I'm choosing to do this is I'm just picking things that sound like they're further away in the song to literally lighten with the type and spread out. They kind of have that echoey feel to them. Ooh, be cool if I had the minutes here. But I don't know, maybe it'd be more distracting. You know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put these in as placeholders and see how it goes visually. And I can always add the real-time stamps in later. I don't know if these are the real ones, but that's not a big deal. Make the type a little bit smaller so it's not, because it's secondary information to the lyrics. Now I do have the opportunity to use a color here if I want. So let's just see what that might play out like. If I were to use like a red here, I dig that. I think I'll keep it that way. I think I like it better with the red just limited to here. I think it's a little too much up here. The only thing I can think of that might anchor this a little bit is this eye chart has a border up here, which is anchoring everything here. I'm really digging it otherwise. This is feeling good to me. I'm just gonna get rid of some of this stuff, just kind of clean up just a little bit here. And what I'm thinking is that it would be really nice to have some sort of visual anchor up here, just top border or something. So let's take a look and see, let's use the trim view and see what that looks like. Oh, that looks really nice. Like, see how that kind of just like centers everything? It's like, gives it like some concreteness. So a couple of things I really like about how this turned out. For one thing, it gets to that kind of like vision and clarity and seeing sort of thread that runs through the lyrics for me. It's also kind of clinical, and the lyrics are really self-reflective to me. It's all like, I saw this and I saw that, and I've been feeling this, and it's really about Trent Reznor kind of thinking about this experience he's going through and how he's dealing with it, and what do those feelings feel like in real time, and then kind of deconstructing them and messing with them and saying, okay, I'm going to fight you, right? So this is how he's dealing with it, and I like that it feels clinical like that. I like that it feels like a page out of a medical textbook. I used to think that this song was like about mental illness, but as it turns out, according to the Nine Inch Nails wiki, this is about the business of writing music. So what it was like to compete against other artists during his time, and then thinking about like, am I keeping up with people? Am I good enough? You know, so-and-so is putting out a song over here, so I'm going to do something to one-up them. And that's why it's, there is no you, there's only me. It's really focusing inward again. So one thing that you can do now, if you're interested in the song and how another artist interpreted it, especially given being able to work with Nine Inch Nails specifically, is the music video for this is really incredible, especially for its time period. Watch through and notice the visual metaphors, knowing that this song is about the industry, the music industry, and the business of creating music, and how it was kind of pulling Trent Reznor apart to not be able to focus on his needs from the songwriting perspective and the music industry perspective. That would be kind of a cool way to compare and contrast what I ended up with, because I actually went through and did this brainstorming before I looked all that up. I would recommend you do the same. And then see how that came out after, and see if you can identify what visuals were connected conceptually between the ideas in the song, in songwriting, in audio music production, and the physical mediums that were used in the music video, because there's a lot of really good ones. You can just make a whole list. Starting to connect the things that you not only see, but that you hear around you, you feel around you, that you touch, taste, and smell, all of your senses to your design work will help make it a much more interesting design conceptually. It'll help make it much richer, right? Because it goes just beyond the visual. Even if that's the main medium you're working in, you can reference other ideas. You can reference other experiences that people have had. And that's part of what I'm trying to achieve with this. So I hope you think about that in your lyrical layouts too, is how can I incorporate some of what I'm hearing in the song? Some of the way the audio goes. Is it really choppy? Is it things quieting down and then getting louder again? This would be a really good exercise in like training your ears and then getting that out visually too. So give it a try, and I am so excited to see what you come up with. I'll see you later.